Hey guys, it's Grand Admiral Thrawn, and today I'm doing a video of a show that I have wanted to do a video of for so long. My favorite show, Bob's Burgers. I'm a Star Wars channel, but Bob's Burgers is my favorite show, and I finally came up with a video I could do, ranking their Thanksgiving episodes since Thanksgiving is coming up. Don't worry, this video does not contain spoilers for the one coming out this year because it has not come out yet. But if you haven't seen any of the other ones, you really should before you watch this video. Anyway, Bob's Burgers is my favorite show. I really like it, and one of its best parts are its holiday episodes. Specifically, its Thanksgiving ones. So today, I'm ranking them. Just to clarify, I like every single one of the Thanksgiving ones. But some I like a lot more than others, because if not, there wouldn't be a ranking. Anyway, let's get in on this ranking. At number 10, I have I Bob Your Pardon, Season 9, Episode 7. This one's a bit of a weird one, although that's kind of odd to say because this is a weird show. It's still a great show, but it's a weird show, okay? Now, this one is about Bob, Linda, the kids, and they're trying to save a turkey that's supposed to be pardoned, but it's not getting pardoned, and they meet this reporter guy. It's funny, but I prefer all the other ones. You know, this one's just... It's not bad, but all the other ones are better. It's just an okay Thanksgiving episode, while all the other ones are good or great or amazing. This one's just like a good one. And it's okay, but it's still a good one. And I like almost every episode of Bob's Burgers. There are some bad ones, but that's like a 1 in a million episode. And yeah, it's a good episode, but it's not good enough to get above number 10. Number 9, I have Thanks Hoarding, Season 8, Episode 5. Now, this one I really like because we get into more depth about Teddy, who's always been a positive character on the show, but then we find out that he actually has like a dark backstory where his parents would fight a lot and how he would try and separate the arguing and just fix things. And in this episode, Bob and the others come to his house to help him set up for Thanksgiving, which he thinks he's throwing at his house, but in the end, it turns out he doesn't. But anyway, Teddy's a hoarder, which means that he keeps a bunch of stuff in his house. And they say that, Teddy, you got to get rid of this stuff. It's junk. And so Teddy starts getting rid of it, but at the end, Teddy wants to keep all that stuff because he holds on to that stuff because he thinks he can fix everything, like how he would try to fix how he would sit between his parents to stop them from fighting. And then everybody else realizes that, and so they help Teddy bring all the stuff back in, and then his family can't actually come for Thanksgiving, so they stay with him to have Thanksgiving. And it's a good episode. Number 8, I have Stuck in the Kitchen with You, Season 12, Episode 8. This is the most recent one, but anyway, in it, Bob and Linda and the kids go to a retirement home to help out around there. And they were originally just going to do that, but then they need a cook, so Bob is the cook. And Bob always takes Thanksgiving to a new level because it's his favorite holiday, and he's always going a bit overboard with it. And Louise is supposed to help Bob in the kitchen, but Bob is being too much of a control freak for her, so she doesn't want to help out that much. Meanwhile, Tina, Jean, and Zeke, their friend, are trying to throw a little parade for all the elderly there. And Linda is meeting with Sergeant Boskov's mother and realizing how she thinks that her kids might not visit her one day when she gets old and is in a home like this. But at the end, she realizes that she'll never be in a home like that and her kids will always visit her. And Bob realizes that he is a control freak, and he tries to change that so that Louise can help him, and he does let her do this one thing she wanted to do, where she uses a little torch thing to roast the marshmallows on the one meal. And the parade actually works out very well. All the old folks are happy about it. And this is a good episode. Even though it's at number 8, it's still a good episode. Number 7. Diarrhea of a Poopy Kid, Season 7, Episode 11. This one is about Jean, who has diarrhea on Thanksgiving. So it's one of those ones where they tell the three different stories that are just like anything that the show can make that's a funny thing. And in it, they have one that's Breadator, which is predator but bread. And it's to make Gene not like food because he's got diarrhea and he keeps throwing up because he has a food poisoning. And Bob makes one about chicken parmesan, which is not a Thanksgiving food, but it helps in the story because Gene ate raw chicken parmesan, old chicken parmesan, because he was hungry the night before. And it's a good episode. It's not that it doesn't have like any character arcs or anything, but it's still a good Thanksgiving episode. Plus, Gayle's in it, and she's always funny. Number 6, I have An Indecent Thanksgiving Proposal, Season 3, Episode 5. This one's the first Thanksgiving episode. It's a funny one. It's a bit weird, but that's the case for every Bob's Burgers episode, where Mr. Fishoder hires them to be his fake family and Bob is the cook on Thanksgiving by giving them a few months of free rent. He's their landlord. Anyway, so Bob's getting angry because Thanksgiving is his favorite holiday and his family is celebrating it with someone else. And he tries to throw a secret one, but none of them care and even show up, basically. They all just leave right away to go back to Mr. Fishoder's because he's got this little contest thing for the kids to do where they can win a prize. So yeah, they are all avoiding Bob, and he ends up drinking a lot of absinthe. So he starts hallucinating stuff, and he also named the turkey Lance in this episode. It's a good episode that's funny, but that can describe any of the Bob's Burgers Thanksgiving. Number 5, I have Dawn of the Peck. This is a funny one. It's Season 5, Episode 4. Now, Season 5, Episode 4 is where the running of the bulls, but with turkeys on Thanksgiving. And Linda, Teddy, the kids, and Mickey the bank robber, plus Andy and Ollie and regular-sized Rudy are stuck at Wonder Wharf while all this is happening because their turkeys are in such high demand during Thanksgiving. So Mr. Fishoder's brother, Felix, had to get geese, ducks, and all kinds of other stuff. And so, like Teddy says, the pecking order is all off. So each turkey is going wild, and each bird's going wild, and they're just like attacking and making a rampage. So Linda, Teddy, the kids, and Mickey are all trapped there. So they're trying to make an escape. Bob, however, is at home because he decided to sit Thanksgiving out because they didn't want to do it with him. Instead, they wanted to do this. And it's a good episode, and it's hilarious. Mickey is one of my favorite characters because Bill Hader is a very funny actor who's in it, and he always plays Mickey, except for lately because he hasn't been playing Mickey. I think he's busy with something else, but yeah. It's a funny episode, and it's a really good one. Number 4, I have Now We're Not Cooking with Gas, which is where Bob gets this very rare turkey that's like a rare one that's better than all the other different types of turkey. It's never been frozen, and it's fresh. And then the gas goes out for the whole town, so he can't cook it. So instead, he throws like this little he makes this little fire pit in the alleyway, and he starts cooking the turkey, and he keeps having the kids bring him like trash to throw in, and then the fire department comes and tells him he needs to shut it all down. But Bob doesn't listen, so he keeps making it, and the family is getting hungry and cold, so they go inside, and he's all alone out there. Then it starts to rain, and Tina, who's been trying to get people to fill out her thankful tree, which is something she's been trying to do, she goes out and says, "Here, Dad, you can burn this." And Bob's about to, but then he realizes he can't because Tina's been so nice and been helping him, and he took it too far. Then he decides he's about to put everything away, but then the fire department comes, and they just set the hose on his turkey. And, well, actually, no, it falls in the fire first, then they set the hose on it. So the turkey's all burnt, and he has it in the sink, and then and then he peels off some of the burning, and it's actually still really good to eat, so they still get to eat the turkey in the end. Number 3, I have Turkey in the Can. Oh no, Turkey in a Can. Season 4, episode 5. This has to be the most creative holiday episode ever in any TV show ever. Where every morning before, this is like about a few days before Thanksgiving, every morning Bob wakes up and he sees the turkey in the toilet. And Gayle's staying over in this episode. And it's a very funny episode where he's trying to figure out who's putting the turkey in the toilet, and he keeps having to go back and buy a new turkey, and he's like flipping out. And then in the end, it turns out that he's been doing it all along. He's been sleepwalking and dropping it in because of these allergy pills he has to take for Gayle's cats. Which the cats are always amazing to see because they are just like what a real cat would do. If you've ever had a cat and you watch this show, you know what I mean, because those cats act exactly like a real cat, the way they animate them. And the first time it's hilarious when he pulls out the turkey, it lands in their litter box. And Gayle goes, "Bob, get that out of there. They're vegetarian." And it's just a funny episode. It's really funny and creative and just shows how well this show is and how good they are and how creative. It's a great episode. But I still have 2 others that I personally prefer. Number 2, the quirkducers. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's season 7, episode 6, where Tina is throwing this little play about the quirky turkey that she wrote. It's about this one turkey who is quirky, and all the other popular turkeys are like cool and popular, and so they all think they're going to dinner to eat with them at dinner. It's a play. Except then they realize how they aren't supposed to, and they get cooked. Well, Louise and Jean actually made it so that when the play happens, they get sent home early because the heads are gonna burst open with gizzards and all that, the play heads. But then Tina realizes, and Tina is all sad about this because she's put in all this work in her play, and Louise already did it. But then Tina saves the play by her going out and having this little speech, and it's a good episode. A really good one. It's a cute episode. It's a great episode about how Bob's Burgers is. I might have just said a lot back there, but it's all true. And it's a funny episode. It's just a great episode. But now, number 1, my personal favorite out of all the Bob's Burgers Thanksgiving episodes has got to be Gayle making Bob's sled, season 6, episode 4. This may not be the most creative one, but it's my favorite because Bob drives over to Gayle's house to help her because she's apparently broken her ankle, and it's snowing really bad, and he wants to get home to Thanksgiving before then, but then his car gets snowed in, so he has to walk all the way back home, and he can't drive or anything, he has to pull Gayle through the snow, and they can't just walk together because her ankle's broken. So he's pulling her through the snow in like this little sled thing, but Gayle brought her one cat with her, Mr. Business. And Mr. Business escapes. Gayle runs after him, and it turns out her leg was never broken, and she was just making a big deal, and it just shows how Bob is such a nice guy, even though Gayle irritates him, how he still cares about her, and it's a really great episode. Meanwhile, Linda, Jean, Tina, and Louise are having their own little adventure of how they're struggling to make the dinner for Thanksgiving, and then, in the end, Bob finds Mr. Business, but hurts himself trying to get him. He does get him, and then Gayle pulls Bob home for the dinner, and it's a great episode. It's my favorite, but if you don't agree with this Bob's Burgers ranking, that's okay, because Bob's Burgers is a great show, and you can have your own opinion. This is just my opinion, and I think it's a good opinion. But let me know down in the comments what your favorite Bob's Burgers Thanksgiving episode is. This is Grand Admiral Thrawn signing off.